Is the seventh day Sabbath a ceremonial law that was put into the laws that aren't ceremonial? Fascinating. What does the connotation of this of ceremonial mean? Ceremonial would be things that typed the ministry of the Messiah, which was to condemn sin in the flesh and be a sacrifice or an offering that corresponds to Jesus' ministry in the Old Covenant. So, like the feasts, which correspond with when Jesus would accomplish certain things in the New Testament, those are ceremonial. The New Testament is explicit. The problem is people want to, when it talks about the plural Sabbaths that are added Sabbaths according to Leviticus, they want to just throw in the weekly Sabbath with it. The problem with that is the added Sabbaths were added to be typical of what Christ would do to end sin, which is transgression of God's law. The reason the Sabbath, the weekly Sabbath, is not that is because it was introduced and declared holy before Adam and Eve fell. The Sabbath is holy because of what God did. So, like, if Adam and Eve had obeyed God, the seventh day of the week would still be holy. So, the ceremonial laws were the things added that typified the ministry of the Messiah, which was to deal with the sin, to save the people from their sin. The weekly Sabbath, it's right from the very beginning, like marriage. Is marriage a ceremonial law that we can just change now? Seems like some people would try to argue, oh, and God just threw the weekly Sabbath in with all the other laws that aren't ceremonial for some reason. It's right in the middle there. No. If they hadn't fallen, the Sabbath would still be holy because it's holy because God rested. He designed the weekly Sabbath as a design feature for humans. And that was designed before they fell. So no, the Sabbath isn't a ceremonial law. God wasn't playing Minority Report. He doesn't introduce the ceremonial laws until well after the fall, well into the Mosaic Covenant. The weekly Sabbath is therefore not a ceremonial law that can just be changed. The Sabbath is the seventh day because that is the day that God rested. That's why it is holy. People don't seem to get the significance of this. It's a design feature that Jesus references back when he doesn't do away with it because he's not a false prophet. Because it's just like, anyway, God bless.